Hello there guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and as you all know, it is official that the transfer window now is shut. Of course, it did shut at 11 o'clock yesterday, basically, and of course Manchester United have signed Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes is set to make his debut today against Wolves. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did confirm he is part of the squad, but he can't estimate how much Bruno Fernandes will be involved. Obviously, it was a couple of days before, transfer deadline day. We secured the signing of Bruno Fernandes. Of course, Manchester United had paid €55 million up front, with around €25 million in add-ons, which does make it in total to around €80 million, and that equates to around £68 million in pounds sterling. So Bruno Fernandes now is like our fourth most expensive signing, and Bruno Fernandes, of course, has agreed a 5.5-year deal with the club, with an option to extend it by a further year. So it's like a 6.5-year deal. Of course, Solskjaer has given his overarching view on Bruno Fernandes coming in, and he did basically say, he's a fantastic human being, and he believes he will be a great addition to the squad. And Bruno Fernandes says, he's delighted to represent this club, and he's, going to try his best, to bring success and trophies to Manchester United and that. So I can't wait to see Bruno Fernandes play today. But I have got some more positive news. It did confirm yesterday night, just before the transfer window shut, Manchester United have signed Idion Ighalo on loan from Shanghai Shenhua until the end of the season. So it's a 6-month loan. There is no option to buy, so there's no option to buy. I think, Man United will pay a loan fee of around, is it £3 or £4 million, and he's expected, to undergo a medical in Manchester, is the player. Now, I think his wages are substantial. At Idion Ighalo's, he's on around 300 grand a week. I think Manchester United are reportedly paying a third of his wages, so I think we're going to be paying him around £100,000 a week. Solskjaer's give his overarching view on Idion Ighalo coming in, and he said, he's an experienced player. He's also a lifetime Manchester United supporter, so he does like Man United a lot. And he did say he's an option. He's an option in a different. He's an option of a different type of centre forward, for the short period he's going to be at Manchester United. So, like I revert back to what I said, there is no option to buy the player. He is 30 years of age. Don't forget also, Tottenham went in for Idion Ighalo. They tried getting him on a 6-month loan, but obviously, he didn't end up going to Tottenham. Of course, in China, Idion Ighalo scored 46 goals in 72 games. Also, it's beneficial as well because he's well Premier League proven. Is Idion Ighalo. He obviously served 3 years at Watford, and during his 3-year spell with Watford, he scored 36 goals, 39 goals, in around 99 games for Watford, did this player. So he is well proven in the Premier League. And, he was key, to Watford getting promotion to the Premier League, was it back in 2015. Also, the player has played in Norway before, when he was a lot younger. He also had a couple of loan spells at Granada. He also played with Udinese when he was younger, so he has played in Italy. But, he's a good cover-up to Marcus Rashford, because obviously, Marcus Rashford is out with injury. He's going to be out for at least a couple of months, because as you all know, he has sustained a double fracture in his back as Marcus Rashford, and I do believe he's also a good alternative to Anthony Martial, is this player. But I do believe he will get given his opportunities. Idion Ighalo won't be playing today, by the way, for Man United, so he won't be making his debut against Wolves, but I do presume he will be making his debut after the winter break against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. But his stats are very, very impressive. Like I said, I think in his in his career up until this point, he has scored 131 goals in 322 appearances as the current player. So I don't see anywhere Manchester United making the deal permanent. Obviously, we just want a striker in, obviously, until Marcus Rashford does come back. So it's good that we've got the deal over the line. So that now means, that Solskjaer's fifth signing as Manchester United manager, because obviously, we've got 2 in this year. Obviously we recommended 3 players in last summer, so I am very, very delighted about Idion, Ighalo coming in. But I think at Manchester United, he can definitely replicate what he did in a couple of years with China, what he did at Watford, of course. But, it's good, that we have got him on the board, basically. But, we only turned our attentions to Idion Ighalo is because, we ended our interest in Joshua King. Because don't forget, yesterday Manchester United did inquire about the availability of Joshua King and that. Now, obviously, it was a surprise, really, that we did get Idion Ighalo in anywhere, because Solskjaer did actually say during his press conference building up to the Man United Wolves game, he says Manchester United won't make any more signings. He said basically he was happy with the links to Joshua King, but he was very convinced we wouldn't make any more signings. But there again, Solskjaer did say that we wouldn't let Rojo or Ashley Young go this month. And obviously, Ashley Young's gone to Inter Milan for 1.5 million. And of course, Marcus Rojo's gone out on loan to Estudiantes. So, of course, Solskjaer did get that wrong. But there was a lot of reports from Sky coming out yesterday. It was yesterday morning saying that Manchester United had obviously, put an official bid in for Joshua King. Obviously, this bid had been turned down by Bournemouth, because it had revealed that we'd put around the £20 million bid in. Obviously, Bournemouth, confirmed that they wanted around £50 million, and that's when Manchester United did end their interest in the player. Because James Cooper, he tends to be close to Man United. He actually, said, did James Cooper, that, we was considering putting a second bid in for the player, basically. Now, Joshua King give his overarching view on the speculation, and he was interested in coming back to Manchester United, because don't forget he's a former Manchester United player. Eddie Howe gave his overarching view on it, and he admitted that he could have left, but he said he was reluctant to let Joshua King go, because Bournemouth do know how much of an imperative player he is. But I'd have took him back at Manchester United if we'd have had the chance to get him. Like I said, he's well proven in the Premier League. He can play in a variety of attacking roles. He's now into his 5th season at Bournemouth. For Bournemouth, he has scored 45 goals in 151 appearances in the Premier League. And I think he's got around 18 months left on his contract. But yeah, like I said, he's... Obviously, we know him really, really well, because he began his career with Manchester United, did Joshua King. Obviously, risen up the youth academy, we had him for 4 years, something like that, in the senior squad. But, obviously, he went out on loan to quite a lot of teams. He went out on loan to Preston, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Hull, Blackburn, so he did have quite a few loan spells, did the player. But Solskjaer knows him well anyway, because Joshua King played for the reserves, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was managing the Manchester United reserves. Was it from 2008 to 2010? But yeah, we did end our interest, so obviously, ended up getting Idion Ighalo on loan instead. Maybe if we'd have inquired about getting Joshua King on loan, then maybe there would have been a chance, but, we tried to reach an agreement on a permanent transfer, but of course, Bournemouth were currently having it. We also inquired about Teemu Pukki from Norwich, but obviously, Norwich were reluctant to sell him. Obviously, we tried also getting Islam Slimani. There was a lot of narratives going on about Islam Slimani. He's currently remaining now on loan with Monaco, but it did say before the transfer window shut that he'd asked Monaco to end his loan, and there was the likes of Man United, Tottenham and Chelsea in for him. I think also too Inter Milan had inquired about getting Islam Slimani. Of course, before he was at Monaco on loan, he was on loan with Newcastle and Fenerbahce. Obviously, Leicester give their overarching view on it, and they said Man United had to pay a loan fee of £4 million, or so too did Tottenham. Leicester did purchase him for £29 million from Sporting Lisbon back in 2016, and at that current point, it was Leicester's record signing and that. So he was another player on our agenda. Edison Cavani has remained at Paris Saint-Germain, by the way. I thought he'd have been leaving PSG because obviously earlier on in the January transfer window when it was open, he obviously put a transfer request in, did Edison Cavani. Obviously Man United went in for him. Chelsea, of course, went in for him. Obviously Inter Miami yesterday were in talks over getting him, but his actual preference was a move to Atletico Madrid. but his move to Atletico Madrid hasn't materialised because Madrid weren't willing to meet PSG's valuation, because PSG stood firm on their valuation. They said they wanted £25 million. Atletico Madrid, I think, must have submitted around 3 bids. I think they was only determined to pay around £15 million for the player. So he does remain at PSG, and he is 32, but I wouldn't want him at Manchester United anywhere. Element of concern is his age. You know, he's injury prone and that, and of course he's never played in the Premier League, so he does remain at PSG. So yeah, there was a lot of strikers on our agenda, but I'm very delighted that we've got Idion, Ighalo in. You know, he's going to get his opportunities. He's 30 years of age, so he has still got at least a couple of years left in him. So I am delighted about, you know, getting him in on loan. But I can't see Man United making a deal permanent unless, you know, maybe, you know, Martial, you know, gets another bad injury, or, you know, likes of Daniel James gets an injury, then maybe, you know, we could consider that, you know, because it's a cover-up for injuries. But, you know, I think he will make the return to China after his loan spell. So, like I said, he's expected to undergo a medical. I'm going to give you the review on the transfer window anywhere. Who do you think, you know, has had the best transfer window? Well, I've got to say, I think Tottenham have done very, very good business in the January transfer window. Did very good business, you know. Obviously, you know, they got Jedson Fernandez from Benfica. Didn't they get him on an 18-month loan with an option to make the deal permanent? Also, you know, Tottenham got Steven Bergwijn from PSV. I think he's going to be making his debut for Tottenham Tottenham tomorrow against Man City. And they also got Giovanni Lo Celso on a permanent basis, because at the first they did get him on loan. So Jose Mourinho has made now 2 signings as Tottenham manager. Of course, Tottenham lost Danny Rose. He went out on loan to Newcastle. And also to Christian Eriksen went to Inter Milan. So yeah, so Tottenham did, you know, really good business. Arsenal, you know, they made 2 signings. You know, the Mikel Arteta's first 2 signings as Arsenal manager. Obviously, you know, they got Pablo Mari from Flamengo. That got confirmed. Arsenal have got him on loan until the end of the season, but they do have the option to make the deal permanent. So Arsenal will reportedly, you know, well, they have paid around £4 million up front for the loan. But if they want to make the deal permanent in the summer, they'll have to pay a further £8 million, because the deal is worth up to around £12 million and that. But yeah, you know, probably... But yeah, Pablo Maria, yeah, so very, very good signing for Arsenal. Don't really know much about the player. Obviously, he is a centre-back, and obviously, you know, Arsenal were in desperate need for a centre-half, basically. So they have got him on the board. Also, too, Arsenal confirmed the signing of Cedric Soares from Southampton, and they also got him on loan. You know, did Arsenal. Obviously, he's a right back, and obviously, you know, Arsenal were in search for a right back, because obviously they've got Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who's not predominantly a right back. Hector Bellerin is a right back, but obviously, you know, he has sustained a lot of injuries this season, so that's also a good move for Arsenal. You know, obviously he's been at Southampton, made over 100 appearances for Southampton. So Arsenal, yeah, got 2 good players in, and you know, Cedric Soares is well Premier League proven, so I think Arsenal can replicate what he's done at Southampton. But reverting back to what I said about, you know, Pablo Mari, don't forget he was in the Premier League before. He served around, 3 years at Manchester City, but obviously, you know, never got the chances at Manchester City in that. So Arsenal have done pretty decent they did decent in the January transfer window. Obviously, Arsenal did recruit quite a few players in last summer. You know, they got Kieran Tierney last summer. He's currently injured at the moment. Actually, you know, so too is Cedric Soares, who they've just signed on loan. He's currently injured, I think, until mid-February. You know, they got David Luiz. I think that was a panic buy. It wasn't Arsenal's preference, was it, to get David Luiz? But they saw it as a cheap solution because they only paid £8 million. For me, he was suspended recently as well, was David Luiz. I think William Saliba's due to join Arsenal, is it in the summer? Because he's been loaned back to St Etienne for the remainder of the season, but I think he's coming to Arsenal in the summer. Obviously, they got Nicolas Pepe last summer. I think that's Arsenal's most expensive signing, or one of their most expensive signings, and I think he's done really, really well for them recently. So yeah, they've done a good transfer activity in that, and you can see what Mikel Arteta is trying to implement at Arsenal Football Club. I think Arsenal, the team's galvanised themselves since Mikel Arteta taken over. I think Arsenal look totally comparison to what they looked like under Unai Emery. Unai Emery, of course, got sacked after 18 months. He enjoyed an 18-month tenure, but obviously, he wasn't good enough, so Arsenal basically sacked him. But it is a transition period for Arsenal. They're on their third manager this season. Obviously before they had, Arteta, they had, Lumberg on a temporary basis. They had Unai Emery and that. But, they are determined to give Mikel Arteta time. He knows the culture of Arsenal Football Club. He was a great player for them. And I know he hasn't got the managerial experience, but he was a coaching assistant alongside, Pep Guardiola at Man City for around 3 years. So he has worked alongside one of the best managers in the world. So I think, he's now, the philosophy now of Arteta's, he's Pep Guardiola's. He's taking Guardiola's philosophy to Arsenal, basically. So I think Arteta, is going to do really, really well. I think when Arsenal appointed him in, didn't he sign like a 3.5 year deal? But they've done good transfer activity. Liverpool didn't sign anybody. I think Liverpool will consider, making some signings in the summer. Obviously they've had injuries this season, Liverpool, and they did actually sign someone. They signed Takumi Mino. That was obviously before the January transfer window opened, but they got officially announced at the beginning of January and they paid 7.25 million for Takumi Mino. But yeah, they didn't make any more signings than that. Liverpool wanted to try and make more because reflect on the injuries they've had. They wanted to get some cover up for their injuries, did Liverpool. This is what Liverpool wanted to do. I think they'll also consider getting rid of players in the summer with Liverpool, but they'll want to make some signings in the summer. They have got quite a few players on their agenda. I don't think Chelsea also signed anybody. So I think probably Tottenham had the best window. You could say maybe Arsenal had the best window. I'd probably say Tottenham had the best current window. If I'm going to be quite honest with you in that. So, obviously, Manchester United go up against Wolves today at Old Trafford, 5:30 kickoff, and it's going to be a very, very tough game. And, we've got to get back to winning ways in the Premier League because, going into this game against Wolves, we have suffered 2 back-to-back defeats in the Premier League. 2-0 to Liverpool, 2-0 at home to Burnley for the first time in 62 years. If Bruno Fernandes had been playing against Burnley, we would have beat Burnley. We should have got him at an earlier point and he should have been spectating the game at Anfield, without a shadow of a doubt. But, we've got to get back to winning ways in the Premier League, definitely. Want to keep our top 4 ambitions alive. We are 6 points behind top 4 at the moment. 6 points behind top 4. And, want to get top 4 so we can get Champions League qualification and that. Obviously, with Wolves, they're level on points with us. They're on 34 points after 24 games, and Man United are on 34 points after 24 games. So there's quite a few teams going for that top 4. Also, Solskjaer is looking to beat Wolves as a manager for the second time. Because the last time we played Wolves, we beat them 1-0 in the FA Cup third round replay. But obviously, prior to that game, Wolves were like unbeaten in their last 5 games against Man United and that. But like I said, Wolves are a very, very good team. They're very competitive. Their record against the top 6 sides is very impressive. Wolves, I've got a good manager in Nuno Santo and that. They did well last season. They finished 7th last season, did Wolves. So in that aspect, they got automatic qualification for the Europa League. They're now into the knockout stages of the competition. They progressed to the FA Cup semi-finals last season, for the first time in 21 years. So Wolves are a very, very good team and that. And, it's going to be interesting to see how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer approaches this game against Wolves. It's going to be interesting to see. Probably Solskjaer more than likely will revert back to the 4-2-3-1 formation because that suits Bruno Fernandes. What are you doing?
You change this?
Oh, yeah, change it then.
You're in the shower.
Yeah, I've just been in, yeah. Yeah, the 4-2-3-1 suits his current standards. So I can see Solskjaer, reverting back to that. But in the last two games, he's actually, gone there with three at the back. And actually, three at the back, I think suits our standards because I think we look more expansive, with three at the back. It seems to work. Because we've gone with that formation, not much this season, but we've mainly gone with that 4-2-3-1 formation and that. But it'll be interesting to see how he approaches the game. He'll probably play a similar lineup to the game against City. He'll probably make a couple of changes, obviously. But yeah, so hopefully we can get something out of Wolves. But it was good. We beat Man City, in the Carabao Cup, midweek. Beat them 1-0 in the Carabao Cup semi-final, second leg. Obviously, it wasn't enough because we went out 3-2 on aggregate. We beaten Tranmere, of course, by 6-0 in the FA Cup fourth round. So, obviously, now we're into the fifth round of the competition. And, yeah, and that was our first time we scored 6 goals since the Ferguson era. That 6-0 win against Tranmere was our biggest away win since 1999. Of course, when we did beat Nottingham Forest by 8-1. So, yeah, be interested to see, how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer approaches this game. It's very important that we get some silverware on the board this season. We can win the FA Cup, possibly. We can win the Europa League. Plus, it's another route to Champions League football. So, Solskjaer has spoken about the importance of us getting silverware on the current board. Obviously, with Bruno Fernandes in and Idion, Ighalo coming in on loan. Like I said, they are two good signings for Man United from my perception. But it still obviously, doesn't change the culture of the club, basically, because obviously there's a lot of cultural problems at Man United. Obviously, there's a lot of problems with the backroom staff. There's obviously a lot of problems with Ed Woodward and the Glazers. Obviously, you've got a lot of United fans protesting Ed Woodward and the Glazers and that. And I don't know if this walkout is going to happen today. I'm not too sure. Because reportedly some Man United fans could be walking out after the 58th minute. But whether this happens or not, I do not know. But there's still we need someone to come in to change the culture of the club, because there's still a variety of changes that are needed at the club. I'd get rid of Ed Woodward, get rid of the Glazers, get rid of our current board, because our board have been a liability for several years. With Solskjaer, even though the two signs we've brought in, it still doesn't really change my perception regarding him. I still don't think he's a long-term solution for Man United, and I hope to be proven wrong. Solskjaer is now been at Manchester United 13 months. He's been here over the year. He's now got many expectations to exceed now at Manchester United. Can he meet them expectations? And it is a transition period for Man United, and Solskjaer is aware of that. I do believe we give Solskjaer the job too early. We should have waited maybe longer, to see if he would be the right candidate. But, he's been permanent boss now for almost 11 months, and he's got 2.5 years left on his deal, and he's on around £7.5 million a year. He's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But, we're determined to give him. We said, we're determined to give him at least a couple more transfer windows to see who else he can recommend in. I know we've been inconsistent for the last 6 or 7 years or so. But even though we've been inconsistent, like I mentioned, we've got the resources in the backing of the club to get the right calibre players in. And we've got 2 good players in this January transfer window. And hopefully we can continue, the rebuilding process in the summer. Because I think Manchester United need to make around 3 or 4 signings this summer if we are to be back to being where we want to be, basically. Because at the moment, City strides ahead of us. Liverpool strides ahead of us. So we've got to make more signings in the summer. I think in the summer we'll probably consider getting a left-back in. We'll also consider getting a holding midfielder in, because I think we need a holding midfielder. Possibly we could consider getting a right winger. But yeah, more signings are definitely nowhere needed at the football club, definitely. Also, like I said, I think more players will leave in the summer, because Solskjaer's confirmed there will be more departures. I think, obviously a lot of players left last summer. Obviously, Young and Rojo have left in the January transfer window. But I think the players that will leave in the summer, well, I think we should get rid of. I think we should get rid of Phil Jones. Problematic player. I think we should get rid of Matic. I know he was good against Man City, but he's too slow and he's too inconsistent. Of course, he got sent off against Man City, did Matic. Obviously, there was a lot of controversy with that. I think we should get rid of Chong. I think he's going at the end of the season anyway on a free transfer. I think we should also probably get rid of Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw's had a lot of injury problems as a Manchester United player. And of course now Brandon Williams is our first choice ahead of him anywhere. I think Paul Pogba will leave in the summer as well. You know, I still believe he'll be leaving in the summer, will Paul Pogba. Obviously, he's out injured at the moment. He could be back for the game against Chelsea, though. Pogba's only played 8 games this season. Bruno Fernandes is the replacement for Pogba anywhere. McTominay, you know, I'd keep him. He's one player I would keep because before he got injured, he did really, really well. You know, so yeah, there's still more players that do need to leave Manchester United and that. But we've had a lot of injuries this season. It hasn't been excusable for how inconsistent we've been. You know, and obviously there's a lot of young players in the squad, you know, that are developing and trying to improve. And Solskjaer's got a lot of trustworthy in his young upcoming players, to be fair. You know, Greenwood's doing well. I think Greenwood needs to start more regular in the Premier League. He isn't getting enough starts in the Premier League. And I think Greenwood will overcome Rashford as he, you know, develops more. You know, to be honest with you, know, some people believe Greenwood's better in the number 9 than Anthony Martial. So yeah, and you know, Williams is doing well. Tuanzebe, he did well before he got injured, but he's out injured at the moment. I think he'll be back soon though. Tuanzebe, the lot's just come back from injury. So yeah. So that's the latest on all the transfer news and that. I'm going to be doing a preview for the Burnley-Arsenal game later on, so join me for that. But reverting back to what I said, hopefully now Solskjaer, we've recruited new players in that. These sort of players can emulate into the players that we had under Alex Ferguson. That's a like prime example. Bruno Fernandes can emulate into Scholes and that. You know, so this is what I'm hopeful of seeing. But yeah, you know, Solskjaer believes if he's given more time at the club, he believes he can emulate into like a Jurgen Klopp. He says basically, you know, it took Jurgen Klopp 4 years, you know, to emulate to the level that he's at. Don't forget Sanchez is returning to the club in the summer. I think that's a bad decision from Manchester United. You know, Solskjaer believes from his own perception that Sanchez will prove everyone wrong. So, yeah. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes on the channel, like I said. If you do, consider subscribe as always and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.